Hey guys, welcome to Reddit Brew. Today, I will be reading from the r/EntitledPeople subreddit, so let's jump into it. Entitled woman kills grandpa, then sues grandma for mental anguish. This takes place in Southern California. My grandfather had a stroke in the early 90s and mostly recovered from it, with a little bit of physical consequences. His doctor recommended physical activity to help continue his recovery, so he used to go walking every day around their neighborhood. One day, he's crossing the street and is hit by a woman in her 30s driving a sedan who ran the red light. He was taken to the hospital and survived for a few days. I don't remember how long, but I remember driving 2 hours to the hospital so my dad could see him, but then passed away due to the injuries. The police found the woman 100% at fault and asked my grandmother if she wanted to press charges against her. My dad and uncle argued that she should, but my grandmother told them that it wouldn't change what happened, and the woman who hit him would be suffering enough with the memory of her actions. Fair enough. Everyone starts moving on with their lives. 6 months later, my grandmother is served with a civil lawsuit. The woman who killed her husband was suing my grandma for mental anguish, as the trauma of her having killed him was so bad, she needed money from his estate to make it better. Luckily, my grandparents made a lot of friends during their life, and one of their best friends was a lawyer. They had done a lot for him and his wife, so he basically took the documents from her and told her, "I'm going to take care of this. It's not going to cost you anything, and I don't want you to worry about it. It's my turn to take care of you." We never heard anything else from the woman or her lawyer, though my grandparents' lawyer's friend later talked to my dad and his brothers and let them know some more details he found out about the situation that we hadn't heard. He had gotten the case thrown out. Not surprising, but in addition to running the red light, the woman had been driving on a suspended license and had been driving without her glasses. And she had a corrective lens restriction on her license. The DMV had taken her license as a result of the incident, but since my grandmother didn't press charges, she never faced any criminal consequences. And then she repaid that kindness by filing a lawsuit against the woman who showed her compassion and kindness. My grandmother was extremely lucky to have a family friend who was a lawyer and who was willing to handle things at no cost. For many other people, it would have cost hundreds, if not thousands of dollars just to get the case thrown out. It seems that she would have been charged even if your grandmother refused to press charges. I don't know exactly what happened, I was like 15 at the time, but I know she didn't go to prison. Maybe the DA decided not to press charges on behalf of the people, or maybe she took a plea deal or something like community service. The only thing I know that happened was her license was taken. Excuse me for one moment while I attempt to release the rage from my soul. Nope, didn't work. This woman literally killed a man due to her negligence. How did she not get charged with manslaughter? The fact that she didn't go to jail is ridiculous. The legal system is such a joke sometimes. Someone's dying, but hey, Karen is cold. I don't know, sometimes I lose faith in basic humanity. Some people seem to be entirely oblivious to their surroundings and fellow human beings. After another Karen experience today, I remembered this piece of human decay. As a med student, I have to do a lot of internships in different kinds of hospitals and wards. The very first internship I did was on a trauma surgery / neurology ward, so a mixture of people who sprained their ankle badly enough to need surgery, and people who had just had a massive stroke and couldn't do anything anymore. Needless to say, everyone was stressed. During the second week of my 4-week stay, I went into one of the double rooms early in the morning to check vitals, etc. I realized one of the two patients, maybe in her 60s, was non-responsive when I tried to wake her up. She wouldn't answer, barely seemed to notice my presence. Her skin was cold and looked almost gray. Her breathing was very low. I pressed the alarm button and quickly checked all her vitals. It seemed like she was dying. This was unexpected. She was admitted because she fell and broke something, as far as I recall, and all her vitals had been okay the day before. The head nurse rushed in and saw what I saw. She immediately called the attending doctor and the emergency team. About 5 people rushed to help. We did everything to facilitate the woman's breathing and tried to stabilize her, but I felt her limbs getting colder. Can you at least be a little quieter? You're not the only ones in this room, and someone close that window. I'm cold. This is outrageous. I was so busy with the dying patient that I entirely forgot about Mega Karen with her broken arm in the other bed in that room. She had already screamed at me the previous day because the coffee I distributed was too hot, and the little cake that came with it had been too dry. But this was a new low. There was her roommate dying less than 3 meters away from her, but she was bothered by the noise. You should have seen the stare she received by the emergency doctor. I for sure would have dropped dead immediately, but for sure it was just enough to mumble some profanities to herself and let us be. Oh, the unlawful things I would do to that woman's coffee and cake. Anthrax comes to mind. Here's your cake, ma'am. Bon appetit. I know I always ask this, but how do people end up this way? It's people like this that, if there were to ever be a zombie apocalypse, I'd be more scared of the humans than the zombies. But anyways, that is all from me today. I hope you enjoyed those 2 entitled people stories. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. I truly appreciate when you do, and I will see you in the next Reddit story. Bye!